family, friends, alumni, judges, mentors, board members, and fellows. My name is Scott Syphax, Chairman of the Nehemiah Community Foundation and Interim Executive Director of the Nehemiah Emerging Leaders Program. Welcome to the commencement of Class 11. This evening is a celebration of the individuals who have participated in our 11th class, and it has been an extraordinary journey. And they have truly made the most, as you will hear as we go this evening, of a most unusual year. The experiences of the fellows of Class 11 have been like none other in the history of NELP. 2020 has been like a year like no other. Between COVID-19, a worldwide new normal, the local and national uprisings stemming from the deaths of people like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery, among others, the economic freefall and distress of the country, and our upcoming presidential election. And we are still in just October. Through all of that, the class of 11 for the NELP program has persevered and achieved. Tonight we celebrate their growth as individuals and as a class. And we know that it is just a prelude to the start of the real journey for them that starts tomorrow as NELP alumni. Tomorrow begins the next chapter as they continue to achieve professionally and transform their communities through service in action. We begin the evening talking about leadership and service with the introduction of a very special keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker this evening is Sacramento's newest and youngest city council person, who is the representative of District 4 that includes some of Sacramento's most interesting neighborhoods: Land Park, Little Pocket, River Oak, and Oak Park. In addition to her new role on the City Council, Katie Valenzuela is a policy consultant in the environmental justice and climate area, and previously served as the Capital Director for Assembly Member Eduardo Garcia as principal consultant to the Joint Legislative Committee on Climate Change Policies. I know Katie, who has worked as an activist for years to expand affordable housing opportunities all over Sacramento for all of us. Years ago, Katie used to occasionally stop by my office to share her efforts in securing land from the government and from the private sector to preserve affordable housing. Sometimes she did not get the reception that she deserved. Did she get mad? No. Even better, she got elected. And I can't wait to see what's next, because I know she is going to bring the heat to the Sacramento City Council in representing her district and all of us in Sacramento. Please join me in welcoming District 4 Councilperson-elect Katie Valenzuela.
Thank you, Scott, and good evening. It is an honor to be here, and as Scott mentioned, it feels full circle for us. Our relationship is now going to a new level, but as Scott mentioned, my name is Katie Valenzuela, and gosh, what a year this has been for a whole range of reasons, but for me personally, you know, on March 3rd, I wasn't really considered a leader, and on March 4th, suddenly I was in this new role in the community, in the SACB, and all of these LinkedIn requests, and developers and business owners suddenly wanted to know what I thought about our region and how we were going to change, and it was really an odd experience. It still is to this day, and has really led me to spend a lot of time this summer, amongst everything else, thinking about what leadership really means. What does it mean to be a leader? I mean, I was still the same person that I was on March 3rd, but suddenly all these folks were calling me something new, and it didn't jive with me well, not at all. So yesterday I was doing this keynote address, another keynote address on environmental justice, my day job work, fighting with oil companies and gas companies for a healthier and sustainable California. And I was introduced by a community leader named Herman Barahona. Herman moved here 5 years ago and has helped grow an organization called United Latinos that's really organizing Latinos in our disadvantaged areas to fight for themselves and to have a stronger voice in policy. And when Herman introduced me, what he said was, when he came to Sacramento, he asked all of these folks he respected, these longtime Latino leaders, these neighborhood leaders, these organizers, who did he need to talk to if he was going to do this work? Who was doing justice work? Who were the environmental justice champions? And he said that everybody he talked to gave him my name. And it was a real humbling moment. I have to admit, it's quite possibly one of the best introductions that I've ever received, because it helped me remember that I was always a leader before anybody called me one. So as I reflect on what leadership means to me, I think if I asked all of you who are listening to this to picture in your mind some leaders in your life, some of them have done small things, some of them have done big things. Some of them were recognized in their lifetime. A lot of them weren't recognized in their lifetime. A lot of them did the work and were striving for something that we didn't really recognize until much later, the sacrifice and the work that they did. But one thing is unique, and I just gave a hint in my word, that I've noticed that all of the leaders I think about, from my dad, who was really only known in Kern County, to the big leaders, when you think about Nelson Mandela and Harriet Tubman and these fighters whose legacies we stand on, I think of one word: sacrifice. To be a leader, you have to be willing to sacrifice. And in my journey, this came out in a lot of ways in my run. You know, a lot of you, I've heard from a lot of folks who are so excited that I've won, and I'm grateful for the gratitude and support that folks expressed to me. But a year ago, almost to this day, I was having a conversation with some of my most trusted friends. We had been campaigning for almost 6 months, and those friends had sat me down to say, "Do you really want to do this, Katie? Are you sure that you don't want to drop out?" And they weren't doing it because they didn't think I could try or fight, or that I wouldn't be a good council member. By that point, we were starting to get hit pretty hard. We were starting to feel the force of an incumbent who had 3 times as much money as I did. And people were genuinely worried for me that I wouldn't be able to work in this town. Who wants to hire a political consultant who took a gamble and was so wrong? You know, if I lost by a big gap, would my career be in jeopardy? Would I face retaliation? All of these questions were very real for my friends, and they wanted to make sure that I was willing to take that risk. And I said yes, very hesitantly. There was definitely a lot of conversation, but I said yes, you know, because for me, I was fighting for something that was more important than what I was risking by this campaign. And I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I kept fighting, because it had a great reward for me. But it could have been the other way. And I think that's something that's so important in leadership. We're stepping out on an issue for a fight, for an idea that at the time a lot of folks don't think is the right idea, who might not think it's possible, who might disagree with what you're saying. And you risk things when you become a leader. You risk your finances, you sometimes risk your safety, you risk your reputation, relationships. It's hard to speak out, it's hard to stand up, and it's hard, even harder, to keep pushing for the years sometimes that it takes to create the change we're trying to see. But that is what leadership is, whether it's small leadership in a community, whether it's big leadership on a city or state or national scale. It takes that sacrifice. And that's why I'm so honored to be talking to you all today, because I know that all of you in this class are driven by this sense of what you want to achieve, who you want to help, those ideas, those fights that you are ready to have. And it's so exciting that a new cohort of NELP leaders are coming into Sacramento community, because we need you now more than ever. I am just one person, but I am one person of hopefully dozens of people now that are fighting for this fight and are willing to put ourselves on the lines, put our careers on the lines, our time, our energy, to keep fighting for something that may not work out. But if it does work out, it's wonderful. But in the end, it's the fight is what makes you a leader. Not how many Twitter followers you have, not how many folks know your name, how many SACB articles you get. It's the fight. And it's the recognition in your community by those leaders that Herman talked to, who said, you need to talk to Katie Valenzuela. That to me is the greatest condoning of my leadership in the community, is that folks that I care about, folks that I'm fighting for, are recognizing that I was leading for them, that I was pushing for them. So thank you so much for having me here tonight. It is truly an honor to be here, to be out of my apartment, to be in real clothes, talking to you on the stage. And I'm so thrilled for you to join, and I hope that you all know that you're not alone, that I stand with you, that lots of folks who helped me are ready to stand with you as well, if you're willing to continue being a leader for Sacramento. Thank you.
Councilwoman-elect Valenzuela. Soon, just a few more days, and we can just drop that elect thing. But inspiring words, inspiring words. So before we get to the main event of the evening, folks, I want to just take a moment to acknowledge all of those who've played such a role in supporting Class 11 in building toward tonight. This journey is an interesting one because typically this is a 9-month program. Well, Class 11 got the jumbo-sized version of the Emerging Leaders Program. And during the early days of the pandemic, there were a lot of questions. Do we continue on? How do we continue on? When can we resume business as usual? Well, as we all know, there is no business as usual. There is a new normal that we all are living within. But demonstrating grit, adaptability, and perseverance, Class 11 said, we're going to finish strong, and strong they did finish. But no one gets there by themselves. As Katie just alluded to, there are always people along the way who are supporting, holding fast, holding us accountable, but there are always people along the way. Before I say a couple of thank yous, I want to give you all a little bit of background. The Nehemiah Emerging Leaders Program was born 11 years ago out of an ongoing set of conversations that I had with CEOs, not only within this region, but across the United States. And it was a common thing in the boardrooms that I was usually in to hear CEOs and other people that were leaders of corporations, government, politics, nonprofits, and academia say, we would promote and elevate leaders of color, at that leaders of diverse backgrounds, leaders of different orientations, leaders of all sorts that aren't currently in our boardrooms and on our senior management teams. But we can't find them. They don't exist. Well, I knew that that just wasn't true. It's just that many times those leaders were in our communities doing the hard and important work, just waiting for an opportunity to step on a broader stage and make an even more tremendous impact. It was an unacceptable answer. And so I went back to my board of directors at the time for the Nehemiah Corporations, and I asked them for $1 million in social venture capital in order to curate the best leadership trainings throughout the United States and to distill it down into one concentrated 9-month program that not only would give the leadership development trainings that people needed, but also give them the coaching, the mentoring, the exposure, the connectivity that so many times people from diverse communities are just lacking and go without. I remember my late father, Charles Syphax, for whom the Nehemiah Emerging Leaders Fellowship is named for, reaching out and working with young people tirelessly on trying to get them connected up into the systems and organizations that they sought to make changes within. And many times, what they heard time and time again was, it's not time. You're not ready yet. It's too early. Well, Class 11 and all of their predecessors, classes 1 through 10, prove the right time is the time that you choose to step forward and get on the stage and do what it is that you came to do. In watching what my father did and watching another gentleman who mentored me by the name of Mel Woods, I came to the conclusion that this just had to happen. And I had fellow travelers, people throughout the community, who came in and supported this effort. And so when we started this program, it was really a check, a dream, and a lot of hard work by a community. When you heard before years ago, it takes a village, it really took a community and even a region to birth the program that we come to celebrate the 11th class of today. First, I want to do some thank yous. One, I'd like to thank our tirelessly working board of directors, my vice chair, Chris Martin, my fellow directors, Sam Starks, Ed Phillips, and Pam Stewart. I'd also like to thank my fellow faculty members who are trainers along with me for Class 11. Class 3's Emily Dutch and Class 10's Paul Willis. I also want to thank the man who holds it all together, makes the trains run on time, and makes the interim executive director and chairman of the board do his work. And that is Scott Seiden. Without Scott Seiden's tireless efforts, none of this happens. And so, Scott, thank you. I also want to acknowledge and give a shout out to the person who along with a handful of others, helped me found NELP all those years ago and still gives generously of her time, Donnie Blumenstock. I want to thank our sponsors, SMUD, Sac State, and the producer of tonight's event. NELP Class 6's KJ Johnston are a central ingredient in how an amazing class like Class 11 comes together, and they work before, during, and after Selection Day. I want to extend a thank you to the mentors of Class 11 and those who have generously given of their time and wisdom in helping our fellows on their journeys and to answer some of the questions that confront all leaders as they step forward on their journey. I want to express our thanks to Cottage Housing, its staff, and its executive director, again, the Nehemiah Community Foundation's Vice Chair, Chris Martin, for hosting Class 11's class project during this year. And finally, I want to give a special shout out and my eternal thanks to my wife, Celeste, who has always been an unofficial part of the faculty and staff of NELP and contributes her time not only to this class, but every single class in the NELP family on a daily basis. She's on the phone or meeting with the NELP alumni or current fellows virtually every single day of the week. Thank you, my love. And now Class 11 has a special presentation that they want to share with all of us before we have the presentation of the graduates. Class 11, the floor is yours.
that, we're back on. I hope you all stayed with us so we can continue our graduation ceremony. I don't even know how to start. This is Class 11 knows what this is about. I have them on Zoom, and we've been chatting with them to tell them what's going on. And of course, they said, hashtag 2020. It's just another step in their journey that just seems to kind of go right lockstep with what has happened over the last few months. I'm Scott Seiden. I'm the program director for the Nehemiah Emerging Leaders Program. I have the honor to present the class to everyone that's online, but I have a few comments to the class first. Class 11, your journey together, which started more than 18 months ago, has been and continues to be like that of no other NELP class. Together, you've been through the heartbreaking loss of parents, you've celebrated marriages, you've experienced the joys of bringing new children into the world, with one more on the way, and, of course, endured a global pandemic that forces us to celebrate you virtually, when all we really want to do is be together for the warm embraces of hugs and pats on the back to recognize your accomplishments. If I had to choose a strength finder talent to represent your entire class, no question, adaptability would certainly be in your top five, and probably your number one. Taking a nearly 5-month break in that final third of your program due to the COVID virus, you stayed strong, supported one another, and somehow completed an ambitious class project that had the NELP management team worried that you had bitten off more than you could possibly chew. But you did it. You killed it. Your project supporting cottage housing will have long-lasting impact for the organization and their clients. But even more so, despite the bumps and valleys along the way, it brought you together as the high-performing team you have become. The NELP program is famously difficult and notoriously secretive. Your class has handled the test of the unknown, and though you've challenged the process, the field faculty, your classmates, the facilitators, me, you've arrived here today as better leaders, better partners, fast friends, and dare I say, family. However, like family, every relationship needs nurturing. I urge you to stay committed to one another, to check in with each other regularly, to take advantage of NELP events for reconnecting and developing relationships with those in the Senior Fellow Network you are now joining. We call this event a commencement and not a graduation because today marks a new beginning, not an ending. The job is not done, Class Rona. With your NELP tools in hand, we expect you to roll up your sleeves, join your Senior Fellows brothers and sisters, jump into the fray, and make positive change. We're confident that you'll succeed, just as you have done during your year together. You've received the NELP training made even more difficult by the year that is 2020, but you've done it with style, with grace, and with a fierceness that this community needs from leaders like you. Congratulations on joining the ranks of the NELP Senior Fellows. We can't wait to see what's next.
And now we're going to get to the main event, which is the presentation of the fellows. And so, Mr. Seiden, once again, the way that we're going to do this is Scott's going to announce the fellows, and we have a question that we want to ask each one of the fellows. So, Mr. Seiden.
And we're coming to you live from the Guild Theater. We have 10 people in our theater here, but those of us who are here, we're going to applaud for our graduates as we announce them. Our first graduate is Theodora Appling. Thea is a creative services specialist for Lucas Public Affairs. She is a board member and chair of the event committee for Design Sacramento.
Thea, we have a question. How do you see yourself differently following your NELP experience?
And the NELP thinker, an energetic leader who's inspired by the possibilities of the future. All of the leaders in my life who gave me a chance, responsible for something, and believed in me are all the people that I hope to emulate in my future leadership journey. During this process, I learned that I could be a part of a group of strangers and make something beautiful happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Thea.
Our next graduate is Chastity Benson. Chastity is the Acting Director of Operations and Educational Programs of the California State Association of Counties. She has joined the board of Child Action Incorporated.
Chastity, how are you?
Often that you are given the opportunity to take a year to conduct a personal self-audit to reflect on how far you have come, where you want to go, and what you want to improve in a quest to become the best version of yourself. NELP gave me that opportunity and the tools I needed to be authentic and influence the change necessary to create systems that work for everyone. Much appreciation to my classmates, mentors, and facilitators for your encouragement and walking alongside of me on this journey. Thank you.
Our next graduate is Kimberly Diaz. Kimberly is the Senior Regional Philanthropy Officer for the American Red Cross. She is a board member of both Cottage Housing, Inc. and Opening Doors.
Kimberly, how do you see yourself differently following your NELP experience?
Thanks, Scott and Scott. As a result of my NELP experience, I will lean into my strengths, recognizing that I'm at my best when I'm being strategic and lending my talents to further missions of nonprofit organizations that I care passionately about. I will be more confident, assertive, and direct. I am more confident in uncomfortable situations and will tackle crucial conversations head on. I will continue investing in myself to further knowledge of organizational leadership. I will continue to seek out opportunities to teach, coach, and mentor relationship managers, sales managers, and fundraisers. As Cassandra Pye said, leap and the net will appear. Thank you to Scott, Donnie, Chris, Scott, and my mentors, classmates, and NELP family for helping me to grow and take my leadership to the next level. Thank you so much.
All right.
Our next graduate is Tracy Ewing. Tracy is an innovation specialist for the State of California's Health and Human Services Agency and a senior analyst at the Department of Healthcare Services, as well as the owner and stylist of Hair by Trixie. Tracy expects to be joining the board of Single Mom Strong in November.
Tracy, how do you see yourself differently after your NELP experience?
I see myself with a different mindset around service and leadership and my ability to get involved and aid within my community. And by embracing my unique set of strengths and not dwelling on my weaknesses, realizing I do have skills and value to offer. I see myself as more confident to speak up or ask questions, and now know that I do have something to contribute to the conversation. And you guys may be creating a monster. I see myself as more comfortable being my genuine self, accepting that, that being authentic is a good thing. And I see myself prepared to lead from wherever I am, to lead from that I have many new tools in my toolbox. I also see myself very lucky to have an awesome network and to be a part of the NELP family.
Our next graduate is Tiffany Harder. Tiffany is an investment officer for CalPERS. Tiffany has joined the board of Wellspring Women's Center.
Tiffany, how do you see yourself differently now following your NELP experience?
frankly, I see myself clearer. I think there's a lot more that I could say, but there's a lot in that, and that means a lot for me. This program allowed me to experience things in new ways and experience myself in new ways and learn about what I need to be at my best so that I can contribute and really engage in meaningful efforts. So thank you to all the NELP faculty, to my classmates and my mentors. Thank you so much.
Our next graduate is Riley Hayek. Riley is the Chief Operating Officer for St. Hope. She is a board member of the Sacramento Children's Home.
Riley, how do you see yourself differently following your NELP experience?
Well, I remember in water polo, my coach told me at an important meeting that for the next year, he wanted me to focus on 3 things. He said, I want you to be smarter, faster, and stronger. And I really feel that on a professional level, this year of NELP has made me smarter, faster, and stronger. So thank you, Scott and all for this wonderful program. And I'm grateful for all the relationships that have been built. Thank you.
Our next graduate is Sedalia King. Sedalia, oh, thank you. Sedalia is the Manager of Government Relations for Advancement Project California. She is a co-chair of the Black Legislative Capital, or BLAC Association, a board member of the UC Davis Government and Public Policy Alumni Group, and the Communication Director of California Young Democrats.
Sedalia, how do you see yourself differently following your NELP experience?
NELP has helped me become a more thoughtful leader. The program has provided me with the language and a community to help navigate these new spaces as I move upward in my career and in my leadership. I'm incredibly thankful for my classmates and for our program leads for this amazing opportunity that I will definitely look back on with grand memories.
Our next graduate is Adriana Lucero. Adriana is the Impact Director for City Year Sacramento. She is a board member and District 39 Area Director for Toastmasters International and a committee member of both the Advocacy and Walk to End Alzheimer's committees of the Northern California and Northern Nevada Alzheimer's Association.
Adriana, how are you different following your NELP experience?
Thank you, Scott and Scott. Because of NELP, I'm able to name and use my strengths better than I was able to before. Because of NELP, I feel more connected with my Sacramento community. And I feel more confident that I belong. And I feel in the room. Thank you, Class 11, for all your encouragement and community along the way, and I look forward to many hugs and happy hours to come after this year.
Our next graduate is Adne Mack. Adne is the Senior Director of Equity Services for the Association of California School Administrators. He is a board member and chair of the Policy Committee for United Advocates for Children and Families, an advisory board member of the Rebel Venture Network, and an advisory board member of Elevate Teaching.
Adne, how do you see yourself differently after NELP?
Thank you, Scott. And Scott, I appreciate it. I think that I have found that I'm a more compassionate leader than what I thought. I see myself as someone who understands now how to leverage my relationships and how I can benefit my community and be a role model for others. I want to thank my classmates, though, for they showed me who I am and who I can be as a leader. And I appreciate that, and I appreciated what it means to be a member of NELP and to be an alumni of NELP. Thank you.
Just need to give a little instruction to our class. There is a 30-second delay from our live here on stage to what you're seeing on the live stream. If you can pay attention to your chat box on Zoom, you'll know when you're coming up. Please don't wait for the live stream to catch up to us. Our next graduate is Keedy McGee. Keedy is president of the Argent Insurance Agency. Keedy is a board member of the Arthritis Foundation and will be joining the Board of Women's Empowerment in November.
Keedy, how are you different following your NELP experience?
Keedy is president of the Argent Insurance, board member of
Following my NELP experience, I have a more comprehensive understanding of my own strengths and weaknesses. I learned that my strengths are things I can leverage and use to push myself to succeed, and my weaknesses are areas where I need to develop and build to push myself further. I now use effective ways to give feedback as well as receive it. I'm intentional about using the tools given to motivate and increase my skill levels as well as others. I now have a heightened awareness of how and when to implement effective leadership skills. I will continue to start with heart, follow through with passion, lead by example, and continue to work on myself. Thank you, staff, my classmates, and my mentors.
Our next graduate is Erica Murgira, excuse me. Erica is a project manager for the State of California Department of Human Resources. She is a board member of Child Action, Inc. and the epistolius, or historian, of the Eta Alpha Sigma alumni chapter of the Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority, Inc.
Erica, how do you see yourself differently after your NELP experience?
Thank you, Scott and Scott. So it's always my intention to leave the people and places better off than when I first encountered them, and NELP has certainly helped me do that. Following my NELP experience, I have more tools and have developed my skills to be a more effective servant leader, which is important to me. I'm leaning more into my strengths and operating more from a primary position rather than a secondary position. And I would like to thank my NELP family, my NELP cohort, my mentors. It's been a wonderful experience. Thank you.
Our next graduate is Nkirika Catherine Ohebu. Nkirika is a business loan specialist for the U.S. Small Business Administration. She is a board member of the YMCA of Superior, California, is secretary of Ada Homes Incorporated, and is secretary for the Igbo Catholic Women's Organization, Sacramento.
Nkirika, how are you different following your NELP experience?
And NELP has certainly helped me do that.
NELP gave me the tools
Following my
to
NELP experience, I have more tools and have developed my skills to be a more
NELP gave me the
effective
tools to
servant
recognize my strengths and
leader, which is
weaknesses. I see myself as more confident, more willing to take risks. Conversations I shied away from in the past. NELP has opened up my world and mental, gave me the confidence to go after what I want. In addition, I no longer feel limited, plan to be more involved in my community by joining city boards and commissions and eventually pursue my dream of elected office. Thank you, Scott, and my NELP family and mentors for your guidance and love.
Our next graduate is Jarita Pichon. Jarita is the health equity strategist and lead of the Perinatal Equity Initiative for the California Department of Public Health. She is a board member and secretary of Sharing Parents, Sacramento.
Jarita, how do you see yourself differently following your NELP experience?
Thank you, Scott and Scott. I see myself more clearly following my NELP experience. My strengths My strengths already lay dormant within me. Acknowledge, explore, and mobilize them. Before NELP, I saw myself as needing to add something to help my career progress, whereas now I see myself as an asset equipped with the tools necessary to make positive change and progress for myself, my class, the best class, my organization, my board commitment, and my community. Thank you to my classmates, our facilitators, and the Scotts for your support and this amazing opportunity.
Our next graduate is Allegra Dawn Pickett. Allegra is the grants manager for the Teichert Foundation. She is a board member and co-chair of the annual event committee for the Sacramento Regional Conservation Corps, a board member and co-treasurer for the New Testament Baptist Church, and an advisory board member of Mentoring Black Sisters, Inc.
Allegra, how are you different following your NELP experience?
Thank you, Scott and Scott. I gained new leadership and professional skills from the seminars, tools, books, community events, the group project for Sacramento Cottage Housing, and my mentors. I also feel more connected to the region because of the relationships I have with my cohort members and the NELP alumni. This experience gave me the push I needed to embrace the next level of community service. And I just have to take this moment to thank Fred Teichert for this incredible opportunity. Thank you.
Our next graduate is Jarrett Powell. Jarrett is the owner of the American Purchase. He has joined the board of Teach for America, California Capital Valley, and is the programs director for Youth in Real Estate, known as WIRE.
Jarrett, how do you see yourself differently following your NELP experience?
This NELP experience has helped me find my strengths through Strength Finder, Command, Strategic, Competition, Achiever, and and Significance. It exposed me to weaknesses I had in team settings and equipped me with tools and resources to transform my leadership style and overall business trajectory. I now see myself as a catalyst for change and a front runner to the next generation of leaders. I want to thank my class for being flexible during these unprecedented times and all our facilitators for bringing us the knowledge for leadership practices. Thank you guys very much.
Our next graduate is Shelley Smallwood. Shelley is a senior project manager for SMUD. She has joined the board of Big Brothers Big Sisters of the greater Sacramento area.
Shelley, how are you different following your NELP experience?
NELP gave me the confidence to lean into and embrace my strengths. I appreciate every speaker and word of wisdom that was shared. I am ready to step in and step up on issues that affect us in the community, as well as serve my community. I am also ready to leap out on faith in my professional career. I thank Scott and Scott, my mentors, Class 11, the NELP family, and SMUD for your support and this opportunity to grow and be stretched.
Our next graduate is Simone Thomas. Simone is the owner and training center director of Heart Vibes CPR. She has been appointed to the board of the Arthritis Foundation of Northern California and Northern Nevada.
Simone, how are you different following your NELP experience?
This experience has transformed me into a confident, outspoken, and professional, able to advocate for the betterment of my community members. I stand for honesty, transparency, hard work, and empowering leaders in our community to live out their truest potential. I am more equipped to lead and collaborate with community leaders in developing impactful change. Thank you for this experience. I am forever grateful. stand for honesty, transparency.
Our next graduate is Jocelyn Williams. Jocelyn is a certified trainer and advanced grief recovery method specialist for the Grief Recovery Institute. She is a board member of Green Technical Education and Employment, or Green Tech.
Jocelyn, how are you different following your NELP experience?
What has made NELP special and unique for me has been learning to really value what makes my leadership unique. In the past, I was really inclined to believe that only certain personalities can be seen as a leader, but now I don't wait to be seen as anything. I lead as I am, as my introverted and introspective self. And I'm really happy to begin the next chapter with this in mind. And I just want to thank everyone for this opportunity.
Our next graduate is Anya Woods. Anya is a business technology analyst for SMUD. Anya has joined the board of Cottage Housing, Inc., is a leadership council member for the Sacramento Women and Girls Advancement Coalition, serves on the community service and social justice team of Sigma Gamma Rho, and is an advisor for the Sigma Gamma Rho ROAR, or youth group.
Anya, how are you different following your NELP experience?
Thank you, Scott and Scott. I am so thankful for my NELP family, my mentor, Yan Marshall, and of course, my classmates of Class 11. Because of you, I know how to lean into my strengths to be a more confident leader, with my crown sitting a bit higher, and I'm ready to make change in the best way possible, starting with my family and expanding with as far as the reach as possible. I will continue leading with heart and from the heart. Thank you all.
All right. Well, folks, as you have heard, this is an incredibly special and impressive group. Let's take a moment and all, wherever you are in the universe and tuning in this evening, let's give all of our graduates a wonderful round of applause. To Class 11, welcome to your future. You have now stepped in. All of this was preparation. And as Scott Seiden said a little bit earlier, and now the real adventure begins. We look forward to seeing what's next for all of you. And please continue to connect with each other, but connect with us as well. We are so invested in you, and we wish you every success in your future. You're part of a family of your class, but you're part of the broader NELP family as well. We welcome you and look forward to fellowship from now into long in the future. Thanks to our guests, our sponsors, SMUD, Sac State, KJ Johnston and KJ2 Productions, and thank you all for joining us for this wonderful evening. God bless and good night.